Welcome to my channel. Today, we are exploring something NASA quietly worries about. What happens to your mind when you are trapped in deep space, millions of miles from Earth, with nowhere to go and nothing familiar in sight? Imagine it. You are inside a metal tube, hurtling through absolute darkness. The nearest human being is your crew, and they are starting to annoy you. The nearest hospital is 8 months away. The nearest tree, the nearest ocean breeze, the sound of birds is gone. Forever. In 2010, NASA ran a secret simulation called Hera. 6 volunteers were locked inside a cramped concrete bunker for 520 days to mimic a trip to Mars. By day 300, something terrifying started to happen. They stopped talking to each other. They withdrew into their own bunks for 16 hours a day. One crew member stopped participating in experiments entirely. NASA calls this the third quarter phenomenon. At 75% through any long isolation, morale crashes. Not gradually, hard. It hits like a wall. And on a real Mars mission, that 75% mark is when you are still 7 months from home. But the deeper problem is something called sensory deprivation. Your brain is wired to process thousands of tiny inputs every second. Wind on your skin, sunlight shifting, voices in the distance. Remove all of that, and your brain starts inventing things. Astronauts on the Russian space station Mir reported seeing things that were not there. Shadows moving, faces forming in static. Their brains were filling the void with hallucinations because silence was worse than noise. Then there is the overview effect. When astronauts finally see Earth from orbit, a tiny blue marble floating in infinite black, many of them weep. Not from joy, from a sudden, crushing realization of how small they are, how far from everything they love. Some describe it as a kind of grief that never fully goes away. So the next time you stare up at the night sky and think space looks peaceful, remember this. Space is not empty. It is full of the one thing your mind cannot survive for long. Total, absolute, unbroken nothingness. And that nothingness does not care how strong you think you are.